Hello, in this video we're going to review how to use the Meetings module inside of Autodesk Construction Cloud. First, make sure you're on the correct project, make sure that you're using the Build tool, then toggle the Meetings module. Here we can see a series of meetings that have taken place in the past, and they're grouped together based on their type of meeting. For example, I've got one meeting logged in this OAC meeting series. I can create a follow-up if we have another OAC meeting. However, in this meeting previously, I acknowledged that the style or the type was different. And when we create the meeting title, we'll want to make sure that we identify those differences. So let's get started. Click Create Meeting and toggle a new meeting. Here we can see a default agenda that has been listed for the meeting. To start, we'll add a title. Next, a date for the meeting, a time, we can also specify a location, and if necessary, we can add a link for video conferencing from Microsoft Teams or Zoom. Next, we can create an agenda. Let's put a description for this meeting. Next, let's talk about what we're going to discuss. You'll need to identify some meeting topics. Under each of those topics, you'll want to add items to actually discuss. So, at the bottom, I can add attachments to this meeting. These attachments would be files that are not currently located inside of the Autodesk Construction Cloud environment for this project. Next, let's add some references. These references would be files that are located inside of our project. References that are added to a meeting item will appear in this section. Finally, let's invite some folks to this meeting. If I want, I can export this agenda to a PDF so that I can share it with meeting attendees. I can also share it with the invitees here, or I can add it to my calendar. Once the meeting begins, I can reorder topics and items under that topic based on priority. I can also flag items if it needs special attention. Next, I can do more references and attachments if necessary, and I can also assign an item to a specific project stakeholder. When I want to add more information to the item, click under the item and type information. If a topic is not important, I can also choose to delete it. During the meeting, I can also record attendance. And toggle due dates so that we can stay on schedule. If a meeting invitee is in need of more capabilities regarding the agenda, I can also make that person an organizer on the meeting, so they'll be able to edit meeting items. When the meeting is finished, I can add a summary. And then I'll want to change that meeting from agenda to minutes. When I've marked it as minutes, it will be listed back in the meetings module. From here, I can create a follow-up meeting if necessary. And then, much of what was on the last meeting, as far as topics and items, will be available to use again. The invitees are already added. And this will help continue to keep track of all of the meeting items that take place. Once the meeting is complete, I can also export it to a PDF. And here I'll be able to see a full meeting summary of what took place on the agenda.